In this lesson, we are going to look at what is a gerund, when to use a gerund, what is an infinitive, and when to use an infinitive. Let's start from gerund. A gerund is the verb that ends in ing form. It looks like continuous tense, but they are different. Let's take a look at the example. Playing basketball with friends is fun. Can you tell me which word is the gerund? So you are looking for words that ends in ing form. There you go. Playing is the gerund in this sentence. Let's take a look at another example. Peter is playing basketball with his friends. Is the word playing here a gerund? No, because it is used with the verb to be is. It is the present continuous tense. Now let's take a look at when do we use a gerund. First, we use a gerund as a noun. Walking up the stair is tiring. Walking up the stair is an activity here. So walking becomes the noun. We need to use gerund here. Visiting a museum is a joyful experience. Visiting is the noun. Number 2, we use gerund after some verbs. I guess you can remember we use gerund after like, hate, enjoy, and love. We also use gerund after finish, mind, suggest, and keep. Let's take a look at the examples. We enjoy hiking in the countryside. Hiking is a gerund. We use gerund after enjoy. To turn this sentence into past tense, we don't make any changes to the gerund. We change the verb. To change this sentence into past tense, we use enjoy. Hiking in the countryside. Number 2, I don't mind visiting the vet with you. Which one is the gerund? Yes, visiting. Number 3, she kept talking to me during the lesson. Which one is the gerund? Correct? Talking is the gerund. We also use gerund after prepositions. Number 1, my brother is interested in making crafts. In is the preposition. We use gerund after the preposition. 2, Jane is good at cooking pasta. At preposition, cooking is the gerund. Number 3, this box is used for keeping the stationery. Which one is the gerund? Keeping is the gerund. For is the preposition. Now let's take a look at infinitive. There are 2 forms of infinitive. An infinitive is the base form of the verb. That means we don't change anything to the verb. For example, did is not an infinitive. Doing is not an infinitive. Do is an infinitive. A to infinitive is the base form of a verb with to. For example, to do, to play, to go. Can you tell me which word in this sentence is an infinitive? Let me tell you a story. Yes, the verb. How about this sentence? I want to make a card for Mom. Which one is the to infinitive? To make is a to infinitive. When do we use an infinitive? We use an infinitive after some verbs or modals. You learned it in first term. Do you remember? We do not change the verb after let, must, can, might, should, and would. Now remember, we use infinitive after help and make. Let's take a look at the example. We should write the words neatly. Should is a modal. We use infinitive after a modal. Can is also a modal. We use infinitive after all modals verb. Mom helped David. This is the infinitive. Cut the paper in half. We use to infinitive after some verbs. You start learning this in P4. Do you remember? We use to infinitive after these verbs. He tried to make a cake without flour. To make is the to infinitive. Kim would like to buy a bunch of flowers for her teacher. To buy is the to infinitive. Remember, we need to use to infinitive after would like. We can use ing form after like but not would like. Mr. Lee taught us to make this model plane. To make is the to infinitive. We also use to infinitive after adjectives. For example, it is difficult to do English homework. To do is an infinitive. This is the adjective. I was happy to see Maya yesterday. Infinitive, adjective. It is easy to bake a cake. To bake is the to infinitive. This is the adjective.